On today's Thee DNVR Pregame Show, welcome back, first off.
Glad to be home.
We'll recap day 3, what happened yesterday at day 2, what Coach Livingston, DJ McKinney, and Preston Hodge said on the podium. Let's go. Buff Nation.
Let's go.
Yo! I mustered that one up. I made that happen.
Well done, brother. Welcome into the DNVR Pregame Show. Day 3 of camp here in Boulder, Colorado. It's a little smoky outside. Is
that because you were just out there?
I guess so. I'm just never going to beat the allegations, so might as well embrace it at this point. Yeah, this is all my doing. Yeah.
That is impressive.
What can I say? What's up?
Who, me?
Sure.
Man, 3 days into this thing, 3 days into it, I was chatting with Coach Prime at the end of the day yesterday, and I said, man, I think people should realize, people as in our players, that we got to get in camp shape as coaches. Like, these are long days. Coming off of short days. You come off a little vacation, and now it's 12, 14-hour days. But it's what you love to do. It's that time of year. It's college football in America. It's what everybody's going through in August. You get here 6 in the morning, no way you're leaving before 6 p.m.
Well, take us through what a day looks like for you, Unc. Just and this is me guessing a little bit here, but, like, you don't necessarily have to be at everything, but you choose to be here.
You're exactly right. And let me you open up something there. I'm not a guy that is bothered or concerned about negative comments. It really doesn't ruffle me one or the other. I see them from time to time. And when people challenge in the comments the actual or factual of what I'm saying, and I know I've sat my ass in a meeting for 12 hours, it's like, how dare you?
Yeah.
So to answer your question, I do it so I'll know what's going on. So you're right. From a content perspective, you literally could just go to practice at 9 a.m., like skip the morning meetings, go to practice at 9, and be done by 11. But then you're missing the position meetings. You're missing the coaches' meetings when they review the film, which is how the depth charts are developed, which is how you bring that information to the public. So it's easy 12-hour days. But for the most part, 13 to 14 hours.
That's crazy, man. But we appreciate you grinding to get us the behind-the-scenes content.
I appreciate it being appreciated. And, it's the same thing for the players. They have a NCAA mandated 3-hour window that you have to have a break. Mm-hmm. But, they are here to 6, 7 p.m. each day. You get after you go through your treatment after practice, after lunch, you get that 3 hours. Then they come back around 2 o'clock, for whether it's a position meetings, film, or walkthrough, that kind of thing. But, we ain't special. Everybody in college football is doing that.
Yeah.
Long days, Yep. And you look forward to, as a player, to when school starts. Because then you adapt to the school schedule of things, and it's not a 12-hour football day anymore.
Right.
How's your day, man?
You want to do that? You're teeing me up for it now?
I'll face the music,
I was going to let you off the hook. I didn't feel like telling the story again, but I'll tell it again for those who didn't see it. So, Jake and I set to leave for practice, 9:15 a.m. Jake always runs late, so I figured I'd hop in the car, pull it up to the top level, and he can just walk right in the car, and we're off and running. 5 minutes after we're supposed to leave, I get a text from Jake saying, leaving my house now. Not even like, sorry, bro, running really late, leaving my house now. Just leaving my house now. So then I'm like, did he mess up the timing of this?
Yeah.
And I said, you're just leaving your house now? He just goes, yeah, I overslept. Still no sorries. So then I said to him, I was like, bro, if you're going to be running 20-plus minutes late, you got to let me know. I would have, made myself breakfast or adjusted my morning in one way or another. And he's just like, yeah, sorry, my bad, I was rushing. But, just the second that you woke up and you knew you were going to be late, that's when you sent me the, hey, I'm running late. And I would have actually loved that because I was running late a little bit too, but I was rushing around to catch up.
I wasn't trying to make excuses. I was just letting you know I'm leaving. What's going on? I'm leaving right now. I'm late.
It's too late for
sorry.
that. You can't tell. So I already knew you were late. You can't tell me you're late when you're already late.
I'm with Ryan on this one.
I mean, I'll face the music.
Yeah. It's like when before your feet even hit the floor, you knew you were late.
Of course.
All right, that's when you send the bro text like, hey, man, damn, just woke up.
Yep.
I mean, I could, but then my mind just went to, bro, you got to get dressed, you got to get everything together, and you got to get the hell out of here.
It would take like 12 seconds to send that text.
But that's 12 seconds I don't spend getting ready and actually getting out the door.
But it would have been it would have saved me from a large inconvenience.
Absolutely. Because now you could slow down.
Yes.
I will just say, we made it to Boulder. We were only 5 minutes late on the safe time.
Yes.
And then we did the usual, and we waited for at least 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't worried about the timing at all. I was just bummed that I sat in the car for 25 minutes.
With the engine
It's
running.
my bad. I just don't know what else to say. It's my bad.
It's all good.
It's my bad. It won't happen again.
We live and learn. So you did the alarm goes off, turn the alarm off, fall back asleep.
On accident, yes. Because
That's
I
How
woke
was that
up.
an accident?
Because I woke up and I was like, oh, man, it's time to start the day. I had a YouTube video going, so I'm about to get up, and then I turn over to watch the YouTube video for a little bit, and then all of a sudden we nod off.
Fatal mistake,
Yes.
turning on your side.
Yes, so.
I have a thing where I just tell my brain, because I have like 2 pillows, but while I'm sleeping, I don't have the second pillow under my head. The second I bring the second pillow up to my head, that's like my brain being like, okay, we're getting up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to get up.
Oh, like out of bed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, I have to sit up, like side of the bed. Like if I roll through the side lay, looking at
as soon as you, that's.
Yeah. No, you got to get up. You got to put your feet on the floor, even if your butt is still on the bed. You got to get up.
Yep.
It just happens, man. I apologize. We'll be better. We'll learn from it. And you bet your ass we'll be getting up right on time for the next at least few weeks.
I will say we can move back our departure times, though. We don't need to leave an hour before the safe time anymore.
That's great news. Great news. Fantastic.
Now you can build that in.
Yeah.
Yeah, sleep a little longer.
All right, Unc. Let's start wide range, and then we'll get more and more.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
What are your biggest takeaways so far of watching this team for 3 days?
So let me give you one to put to the side because I want to drill down. The clear biggest takeaways is how much better and the depth we have at offensive and defensive lines. And that was an intentional thing during the recruiting process. So let's put that over here. What I've really enjoyed, though, seeing is now that we have corrected that from getting them here, there's another level of coaching that is taking place. You guys will remember last year we were the second most penalized team in college football.
Yep.
There is a clear, direct correlation between what they do every day and what Coach Prime means by discipline and attention to detail to play penalty free.
Yep.
The other thing was
let me just tap into that really quick. How do you coach a team to not get penalties?
you enforce the small things. You know, when Coach Prime will tell you that the guy that comes out here with the wrong socks is the guy that's going to jump off sides. The guy that brings his phone to a meeting, even if it's off, is the guy that's going to do roughing the kicker. You know, he correlates those kind of details and nuances of organization to if you can't follow through that in
breaking
August,
rules here, you're going to break them out there.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they hear him say tough, smart, fast, discipline, they think discipline is, hey, go to the frat house party but don't get in a fight or get drunk. It's not that kind of discipline. It's the meeting starts at 7:15 on the calendar. The true meeting starts when he walks in, which can be 10 minutes before the posted time. So you have to be 10 minutes before that. So truthfully, when our meeting started at 7:15 in the morning, you need to be in your seat like 6:45, 6:50.
Jake,
I mean,
Jake would have been kicked off the team in spring.
Absolutely.
Look, man, I'm not in camp mode. What can I say? I don't have a 12-hour regimen I have to follow every day.
So historically, when you see Coach Prime and Shiloh go at it about being on time, technically Shiloh is not late.
Yeah.
Like,
my guy.
The meeting starts at 7:15. Shiloh may walk in at 7:09. He's actually early, but Coach Prime walked in at 7:08. You know, and so it's that kind of thing that he correlates to cleaning up. The other thing is, when you remember the big plays we gave up last year, it's not that a guy came out the backfield and just went 80 yards untouched. It was poor tackling. The level of attention to detail this early in camp on tackling, and when you're on the other side of the field, don't assume that guy's going to make the tackle, everybody run to the ball. Like, that has been really intense this year, 3 days in.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a clip of Coach Prime just absolutely eviscerating the defensive line for not getting to the ball.
And, let me tell you when I say crazy, I mean crazy in a genius way like that. The defense has been kicking the offense's ass for 3 days, but that ain't good enough because you didn't go from the other hash to the other hash after the ball. That guy may drop the ball. Your guy who got the interception may fumble the ball after the interception. Go to the ball. Everybody has to go to the ball. That kind of push was not part of this team at this point last year.
Yeah, where were they at this point last year?
Still trying to figure out personnel. I think that spring ball is for evaluation, and then coming into fall camp who's who, but you're just looking for validation. Last year this time, we were still doing evaluation. Mm-hmm. We were trying to still figure out who might the guy be because you didn't get a true look, during that spring.
Well, because most of the portal makeover was after spring.
Exactly. So you didn't know what you had yet. So you're going into the first maybe 10 days of camp doing what took place this year during the spring. Yeah. Well, now you know who the guys are. Now you just want to be able to put the stamp on them. It's narrowed down to, okay, it's going to be one of these three. Mm-hmm. Now, which two is it going to be? And that's about effort, consistency, and the details.
And what's so interesting about that is that it didn't rear its head in the beginning of the season because they were able to get the talent right, and they were able to get the right guys out there. What happened was, though, is as the season wore on and different challenges presented themselves, they weren't as prepared for them, like you mentioned with penalties and stuff. They didn't have all of fall camp to master, all of the little things. They had all of fall camp to master the wide angle, scope, and it paid off for them early. But then when the little things in the tight execution comes up to it in a really close game, or the game starts to slip away, and you need to know exactly how to respond to this stuff. They just hadn't worked on that.
And I think that I agree with that, RK. And I think that became apparent, regardless of record or outcome of the game. I think that became apparent with Colorado State and Stanford. One you won, one you lost, but neither should have been close.
Yep.
And we put ourselves in situations where we allowed them to make it close. One we were able to get out of here with, one we didn't. And so you kind of knew early on, okay, yeah, we beat TCU, but we're not as good as we think we are because we're poor at executing the details down the stretch. And that's keeping people in games or giving them leads by giving them extra possessions. It still comes down to tackling, and we were poor at tackling last year. So to answer your first question, I think there are three things that 3 days in that you just see an intensity on. That's the discipline aspect, that's the tackling aspect, and the drills that are being put in for special teams. Special teams was not special last year. And I think there's a concerted effort this time around that it truly represents its 33.3% of the game.
I mean, not to go back and talk too much of last year, but I think a lot of that started when Travis got hurt. And I think that the coaches, the players, everyone was looking for answers at that point because so much of this team runs off of him.
Sure.
And it was in that Colorado State game, or it was after that, really when the tackling got really bad. I mean, Oregon was the next week. That's when the tackling really was terrible. A few weeks after that, penalties got really bad. So I think that's kind of what started all that.
I agree with that because when you don't have him, it's like, what do I have?
Right.
And because the Shador-Travis thing, together or separately, can get you out of most things. Mm-hmm. And when you had both of them on the team at the same time, you never felt you were out or something.
Yeah.
Well, by the time you go to Oregon, one of them you don't have. So when you make a mistake on special teams or defense or offense, you don't have the ability to make up for it the next possession because he's gone. Mm-hmm. And then when that wheel started to wobble, that wheel came off, and then you see what happened by the end of the season.
Yep.
So all of that is being addressed within 3 days, which is phenomenal.
Yep.
Two things from my perspective here, just to kind of double down on something I said on Monday. I was talking to someone who's working on the Prime documentary today, and I was just asking her, what have you thought about what you've seen? And she goes, Shador looks so small. And I was like, what? She's like, last year Shador looked huge to me, but now everyone else is so much bigger that he looks small again. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's a really interesting perspective on it. And then one other thing. I love that, and I thought it was a great storyline of the spring, so I'm not trying to say it wasn't, but I love that we haven't talked about team bonding at all.
Right.
We've moved past that. That was taken care of.
Yeah.
The team chemistry, the team bonding, all that stuff, that was a spring story, and now it's just now we're all about football. Yeah. And all the conversations happening around this team right now are about football, and I think that's the right progression of things.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, let's hit a break real quick, and then we'll get to what was said on the podium from Coach Livingston, DJ, and Preston. And shout out to our friends over at Lucy Nicotine. Some other nicotine pouches have been hard to find, but Lucy Nicotine, not hard to find. You can go to lucy.co and use that promo code BUFFS to get 20% off and free shipping. They've got a bunch of great flavors. I don't know if you've tried them yet. We'll get you some.
I have not tried them. I'm hanging on every word about Lucy's Nicotine.
We'll get you some. I'm a big fan of the mango, the apple ice flavor.
I think I could go for that. That sounds appropriate. Yeah, a little mango.
Mint. He likes the wintergreen one too.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Lucy's.
So let's level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/buffs and use that promo code BUFFS, BUFFS, to get 20% off your first order. Lucy offers free shipping and has a 30-day refund policy. If you change your mind, again, that's lucy.co and use the promo code BUFFS to get 20% off and free shipping. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Order is age verified.
Also, shout out to Toyota. You see them on the backdrop at the press conferences. You see them on our mic flags when we're in the Toyota lounge. You see them if you ever see me driving around on the road. And you'll see them at our tailgates this year and at our golf tournaments. They're everywhere. They're great. It's a fantastic product. The customer service is off the charts. A lot of Buffs fans working at the Front Range Toyota stores, a lot of DNVR fans working at the Front Range Toyota stores. So if you are looking for a new car, I cannot recommend Toyota enough. Head over to Toyota and visit a Front Range Toyota store near you, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of CU Athletics and the official vehicle of DNVR.
Well done.
Absolutely well done. And they're on this side of the mountains.
That's the Front Range.
Front Range, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know where you are, right?
I've learned that. I've learned that. A little smoky out that way.
Yeah.
Thanks to Jake.
They don't call the other side of the back range, though.
They don't.
What if on the other side they call their side the Front Range?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's true.
Like, you know. Which is the left or right tweaks in the tweaks, you know?
They call themselves the Western Slope.
Ah,
Yes.
I could see that.
So why aren't we the Eastern Range?
Because no one wants to be associated with the East.
Fair enough. West Coast, Best Coast.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to practice.
Let's do it.
We got Coach Livingston on the podium. It was great to hear from him. Always great to hear from him. In my opinion, we don't get enough Coach Livingston, so we'll just have to look forward to the next time we get him. But you asked him about the in-helmet communication devices and how that has played a role in how fall camp has gone so far.
You have the in-helmet communication this year, which
Yep.
is obviously something you're very familiar with.
For sure.
One, what is the advantage of that for you guys? And two, who is going to wear their green dot for you?
We'll play around with it. You know, it's a great advantage for us. It's a little bit more my comfort zone, as you mentioned. You know, defensively, do I think that when you're getting no huddle spread, it's going to work perfect every time? No, or you still have to signal yes. But it's a great tool for us, and candidly, it's a great tool to talk to the guys on the field. So we'll rotate it. You know, you can have conversations. I am probably guilty of talking too much. You know, at times they'll be like, leave me alone, let me go play ball. But we'll play with it. You know, everybody will have it at some point. So once we have to make that decision, you know, kind of bi-weekly, it won't be the first time that they're hearing me.
Main takeaway for me there is everyone will have it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, I think they got to figure out the best way to use it. We heard from Shiloh himself. He doesn't like having it on. He's like, it gives me a headache. There's just all this chatter in my ear all day. And I think that it's one of those things where you kind of got to figure out the best way it works. Who meshes with it the most? Who likes having Coach Livingston in their ear the most and is the best at relaying that information to the rest of the team?
Yeah, I think the additional challenge to that is Coach Livingston's defense is predicated on so many different personnel groups. And the way the rules are stipulated now, you know, you don't have 10 helmets over there with it in it.
Right.
You know? And so there's going to be a possession or two where the main guy is not in the game because of a scheme or a matchup. And so that's why you heard him say we're still going to have to rely on hand signals because there's going to come a moment where this guy has the green dot, but he's out the game, and Smitty can't switch a helmet that fast. Because 2 plays later, you're probably switching it again. What I do love is from a relationship standpoint, just 3 practices in, if you want to discount, you know, player-led practices or, you know, team meetings, that you can see a Shiloh or a Cam Selman, you know, or Preston Hodge. You can see whoever kind of like, stop. Like, stop talking. Like, I got it. versus I don't have a choice but to just take what's coming in my ear. They're able to take what he's saying. They're able to take what he's saying and digest it. But Shiloh would be one of those players that's more hand signaling freelance,
Yeah.
And he has performed with that level of trust that he would be the one that could freelance. That's what safeties do.
Yep.
When you look what Ed Reed was out there doing, for the Ravens, he ain't listening to the coach in his ear.
Oh, no.
He's doing his thing,
Right.
Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of that. But I think the biggest challenge as we figure this thing out, week 1, week 2, week 3, is how do we keep a certain personnel group so there's somebody out there with it if needed.
Yeah, for sure. And, you mentioned that if a team goes hurry up, you're going to have to go to hand signals anyway because the way that it works is it doesn't turn on until, the play clock starts.
Right.
And so if you've got a guy running back to the line of scrimmage in between plays and he's not going to have time to get the call in his ear, turn around, tell everyone what's up while they're already lined up and ready to snap it. So I think actually the players are in a good position here where, they've done it the other way.
Yeah.
Now this new way should just be additive and help them and, be a nice counter for the Connor Stallions of the world.
Yeah, and including not using it. There are different ways to do it now. And like you said, you've been doing it without it so long that it's a bonus. It shouldn't be a mandate.
Yeah.
You've figured out how to play ball without this. So if it doesn't make the defense better, you're not obligated to every play we got to use this system. And Rob Livingston knows that. So he's going to switch between signals and personnel and make it work.
Do you know if Shedeur is wearing a wristband?
I've seen him some days with one on, but, mostly it's ear communication.
Because I love the combination of the ear communication with the wristband, where you can you could be going hurry up and then just yell 12.
Right.
And he looks down, he says 12, he signals it out to the, and then they go. I think that quarterbacks are weird about it. They almost look at it like training wheels. Mm-hmm. A lot of quarterbacks hate it. But to me, it can only help you.
Yeah.
And, Pat Shermer, if he were here, would tell you, and Shedeur would echo it, they have a relationship and a trust in one another that Shedeur may be choosing from 3 plays, and the OC is comfortable with either of these 3. But particularly when they sit down in their one-on-one sessions in the film room, they're narrowing the playbook down to not only what Shedeur is skillful at totally, but what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Most people perform very damn well when they want to do it. When you give them something that they're like, I don't know about that one, coach.
Right.
It can be a little lackluster at times.
Right.
So they put him in a total position like, hey, here are the keys. If you want to drive 65 on this play, do it. If you want to drive 95, do it. You decide. But as long as we're going that way, it's on you.
Yeah, I always make golf metaphors, but it's like if you're lining up a putt in golf and you like your line and you think it's going in, you make it so much more. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as, 3rd and 5 and Shedeur gets a call in his ear and he likes it, he's going to make that play.
Yep. I totally agree with that. Got to like it.
It'll be a big adjustment. One of the storylines to really follow as we go through camp here is that green dot, especially on defense. Next thing about from Coach Livingston, he was asked about going up against Shedeur in the Buffs offense at practice every day.
From your side of the field, what's it been like going up against this offense every day?
Not very fun. I think Shedeur is incredibly dynamic. I think he's a great player. I think the offensive line is blocking well. The receivers have done phenomenally, moving some tight ends around. They're doing good things, and we got good backs. So, it's a challenge. But we talked about it with the team the other day. Training camp is designed, to be a challenge. So you get to that first game, it's not the first time you've been punched in the mouth, right? Again, we don't card a lot of stuff, right? It's good on good. Let's go play fast, and let's see who we got. So, I think our offense has got a chance to be extremely, extremely dynamic.
Kind of playing down a bit what you said, because you say the defense is balling out every day and has the early lead so far. But
when you talk to Damian Lewis, defensive line coach, Andre Hart, linebacker coach, or talk to Rob Livingston, they will totally downplay that the defense has been winning. Mm-hmm. Because as D. Lou said yesterday when I interviewed him, we're so far from where we need to be, I can't celebrate we've won 2 days in a row.
Right.
So there's a lot of coach talk in that. Mm-hmm. What I do find interesting about Coach Livingston's remarks, when you drill down to the numbers, the back and forth, who won, who didn't win as far as a unit, it has a lot to do with which side Travis was on. Like, typically when the offense does well, he was on offense. And typically when the defense does great, he was on defense. And so that middle part is the yin-yang. Yeah. But when he is with one side or the other, that side has the upper hand.
It's like serving in tennis. You know, if you're on offense and Travis is on defense and you beat them, it's like you broke the serve.
Yeah. Yeah, so I always, when I'm watching, look for where he is. And then when he's not on the field, try to evaluate those guys because it is definitely skewed. It's not 100%, but it's definitely skewed the side he's on. You can even see, this is hilarious when it happens. I try to catch it content-wise one day. Travis can be with the offense. And he'll do 4 plays. And he is now about to go do 4 plays with the defense. You can see, like, Rob Livingston high-fiving when he comes over.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool, I got you.
Finally, yeah.
Now I got you over here.
So it sounds like Travis is doing both almost every day at practice, offense and defense, whereas
Absolutely.
last year.
These 3 days he has.
So it's not like last year, though, where he had, like, offense days and defense days.
Yeah, not yet. I'm sure it's going to get to that. Travis is so gifted physically and then his knowledge of the game. On defense, you know, he's in man.
Yeah.
You know, so just do your thing.
Right.
He's going to at some point spend more time on the offense side of the ball because the way that our receivers work, the receivers without the ball or that are not going to get the ball are just as important to the play. Mm-hmm. And so I think by the time we get a week and a half, 2 weeks into camp, you're going to see what you saw last year where there's a day he's just totally a wide receiver for the day, including the meetings in the afternoon.
One of the kind of like storylines of the offseason was the change in offense with kind of getting rid of the option routes. And Shador, you know, told us at the Super Bowl he feels like he's going to be able to throw with more anticipation and stuff like that. Have you noticed that over the first couple of days of just him being able to throw guys open maybe even before they get out of their breaks?
Yeah, and he'll tell you that sometimes – I don't want to say, quote him wrong and say boring, but it's just like so understood it's going to work. Let's do something else. like you know, he was going back and forth with Trevor Woods after Trevor's press conference. When, you know, Trevor said, I got 2 picks today. Trevor said, I picked 2. Someone heard it as I picked off Shador. Yeah. And so Trevor and I were laughing because he said, Coach, I didn't go out my way to fix it. You know, just like let them think what they want to think. We turned the corner and Shador is standing there. So we tell him the story and he was like, man, but you know, Trevor, like if we just did this offense every play, it's like going to work every time. It ain't fun. Like, you know, so I try not to do those things because we need to work on what we need to work on. What I'm looking forward to, particularly when the full pass come on, is which one of the running backs emerge the best receiving-wise. Yeah. I think they're all kind of neck and neck as who can run, but who's going to be the best guy catching the ball at the backfield, we don't know yet.
How would you handicap that? I think I would probably put Dallin Hayden as the favorite to be the best receiver.
I think I'd have to go with Charlie for right now.
Yeah, I tell you what, and I think Coach Fleece said this at his presser, it's also going to be predicated on who's best at helping out in the blocking scheme. You know, who can chip a guy before they roll out to the pass or who can stay back and block the whole time. That nuance of it is going to be special as well. But I don't have a favorite right now receiving-wise, but give me a couple more practices and I will.
The last 2 years at Ohio State, Dallin only had 5 receptions. So,
yeah, I mean, but how does that compare with how many snaps he had?
That is a good question. I do not know.
Yeah.
But he had 130 rushes. All right, let's hit break real quick, and then we'll get to Preston and DJ. Shout out to our friends over at Circle K.
Snacks!
If you're going on the road this year, coming to Boulder or meeting us on the road for one of the 6 road games, I'm sure you're going to be stopping at a Circle K. Got to fuel up. Got to get your snacks. Got to get your drinks. All the other good stuff.
Got to.
What are you picking up on a road trip?
All right, I am picking up the peanut M&Ms, yellow bag, but the size that says sharing, but I don't share.
Yeah. With like the zip on the top. And
yeah, it's like
they got zippers on there now.
They have a bag with a zipper on it, but I'm not. I'll take that hit, but I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about the big one that says like for sharing on it. And you're like, you're not telling me what to do.
It's like barely bigger than the other one.
Like, what? I'm not sharing this. Like, get your own.
Yeah.
But I got to get that. Peanut M&Ms is my favorite road candy.
There you go. And Circle K, we need you. There's space across the street from the DNVR bar. We need you desperately. You can visit www.circlek.com/inner-circle to sign up. All kinds of good discounts there. Gas, Polar Pops, free items for every 5th, tons of stuff. For more information on how to become an Inner Circle member, go to that link or scan the QR code on your screen.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Use the code DNVR365 to sign up. Deposit $10 for the bet and get offer. What that is you place a bet of $5 or more, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets. It's such a fun way if you're just getting into sports betting to get your account started. You get $150 in bonus bets. You kind of get a chance to experiment with what you like. Maybe you want to make a big parlay that gives you a chance to win 50 G's. Or maybe you just want to bet a heavy favorite and come away with like 10 extra dollars. It's just a fun way to kind of figure out what you like as a sports bettor. So get over to Bet365. Use the code DNVR365 to unlock the bet and get offer. Of course, you must be 21 and over and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Personal preference, RK, would you rather the first leg on your 8-leg parlay missed or the 8th one?
First.
Yeah.
I'm a first guy all the way.
Yeah.
Oh, half to.
I got some
Actually,
buddies who want to stay in it all to the end.
Nah,
man.
don't give me the false hope.
No, I like the hope. Now that I think about it, because what's going to happen is if my first leg dies, then I'm just building another one right then and there, and that one's going to lose too. So at least
I want to point this out. That phone number you just read, you might want to call it. If that's what you're doing.
If I'm watching college football all day, I want investment in every game.
Right, if your 10 a.m. game misses, I
like-
got to start with the noons now.
Yeah, exactly. So let all 7 happen, and then let that primetime game be the loser, because then I don't have anything else new to start on. Except for, of course, I'm throwing in on Hawaii at midnight kickoff.
Yes. All right.
Shout out to Dennis Thurman, DT, former defensive analyst here, former defense coordinator at Jackson State, Jets and Ravens defense coordinator, Buffalo Bills defense analyst. He is the defense coordinator at Hawaii now.
Yes, sir. He is.
Yeah, I hope
He's
they
gotta
do
be
great
loving
things.
that.
I texted him when did I hit DT? 4th of July, and he was loving it, man.
I'm
He was
sure.
loving it. But, he's an L.A. guy. Like, he grew up,
Okay.
L.A., went to USC, so Hawaii's like just a skip across the pond.
It really is. All right, we had a group press conference today, first one of the season, or fall camp at least. Preston Hodge, D.J. McKinney. Lots of great stuff. Go check it out on our YouTube channel. Cam, Silman, Craig, and Shiloh crashed the press conference. Asked some questions there if you want to go check it out. But they were asked what they should expect out of the secondary this year.
What should fans expect out of the Colorado secondary this season?
Probably the best secondary in the nation.
The best secondary in the nation.
Give us an individual interception prediction for both of you guys.
What, for me?
Yeah, what's your goals of interception?
Interception, I'll probably have like 4 this year. I'm going to have like 10 PBUs, probably like 40, 50 tackles.
Oh, that boy go first round. What about you?
I'm going to say like 3 interceptions, at least 1 pick 6. I need a pick 6.
Nice. But me?
Those are Coach Prime's confident corners, man.
It is. Also, realistic predictions as far as interceptions go. I thought I was going to hear like 10 or something like that. 4 led the team last year, so that's a fair number.
Yep. But I love it, and I think they're right. I think the talent in this secondary, it's versatile. It's young, but there's size there too.
Yeah.
And they have the best player in the country in Travis Hunter.
And I really think that they should, not just because of Travis Hunter's presence, but just the totality of the group. We've heard all spring and all summer how we had one of the top receiving corps in the nation. I think the corners should be getting the same accolades because on paper they are just as equal to accomplishing way more than any other group in college football.
DJ McKinney looks like an NFL corner.
He is huge.
Yep.
Length too.
Yep. Absolutely. Reminds me a little bit of Jimmy Smith, who obviously had a illustrious NFL career, a long one too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, when DJ stands up there, I mean, Preston too looks like your classic, inside corner.
Yeah.
But DJ, he was built to be a corner.
Yep.
How has he looked, by the way?
They all look good, man. It's a deep room, and you have to have it deep because just like with the receivers, from going over and helping out on special teams, whether that's playing gunner or something, hamstrings are going to happen, when you're in a speed position. So you got to have depth. What I love about when I watch them work is not only are they learning directly from Kevin Mathis, who's played in NFL. Our defense coordinator is the safeties coach, and our head coach is the best to ever do it. And there are moments during the defense individual drills that those 3 coaches are over there together. Yeah. How you don't leave better every day, I don't get it. And these guys soak it up. And Coach Prime is, again, very detail-oriented. So he's like, hey, move your foot just a little bit that way. Don't make a T with it. Make this with it. He's watching everything with him. And you'll see even when Travis is going through, drills, he's barking at Travis saying, sit lower, do this. So they're getting coached up, but they come with so much natural talent that when they embrace and then execute that, they're going to be some of the best in the country.
Absolutely love it. They were also asked what they've learned from Coach Prime so far in their time at Colorado.
Both of you guys, you mentioned you want to come here and learn from Coach Prime.
Yes, sir.
You've been here since the spring. What have you learned? What's one thing each of you have felt like you've learned from Coach Prime
I would
that's
say
made you better?
learning the down and distance when I'm covering somebody and knowing how to play it. And then also, I'd probably say switching it up, when I'm guarding somebody, not doing the same thing every time I'm guarding him, maybe press, play off. Just show them different types of scenarios.
I would say the same thing, just pre-snap everything, just make sure we're not doing the same thing. We always got him behind us saying, hey, switch it up, 2-4, switch it up. So, we just try to implement it.
I, too, have noticed that about Coach Prime. Whenever he coaches the corners, he always mentions down and distance. Always.
You got to know that. There's a dynamic there. When you talk about down and distance, we talked about switching it up to look. Coach Prime will tell the receivers or challenge the receivers. It's like, you got to understand, I played receiver a lot too. It was because of my knowledge of the defense, and I could read the defense like a quarterback, that I knew if I was getting the ball or who was getting the ball, because I'm seeing what the quarterback is seeing and reading it the same way, and I see the coverage. And so that's why he tells the corners, don't give away what you're doing, because the receivers are watching and they're going to know what to do based on you. So, don't give them everything, every look, every time. You got to switch it up, because they'll adapt to it and they'll know what the play is going to be, at least in beating you.
Yep.
And the down and distance stuff, it sounds obvious, but in the heat of a game,
for sure,
it's really easy to just run back out there, make sure you're lined up against your man.
Next play.
And just things are moving really fast. So
absolutely,
it's just as simple as looking up. Okay, 3rd and 3. The most likely distance this ball is going to be thrown is 3 yards, 4 yards. They're trying to convert it. And on the flip side of it, it's why Peyton Manning always talks about how if you look at his career highlight reel of him hitting deep passes, it's usually on 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the only time I could ever get press man.
Right.
Was 3rd and 1. So if I had Demaryius Thomas out wide, 3rd and 1, I would just be like, go. I'll find you. But not a lot of college quarterbacks aren't thinking that way.
Yeah.
They're not 3rd and 1, let me go score a touchdown. They're just trying to move the chains. And so these guys, it's giving yourself the most possible information as you go into a rep of okay, I have a feeling based on the leverage, based on the formation. This is probably a 5-yard in because it's 3rd and 4.
Yeah. And let me take some whipped cream and put around the top of that. And, Jake, if you want to put a cherry on top, go ahead.
Okay.
This is also, when you talk about down and distance and routes and quarterback, this is also why the running game is so important and why we failed so much last year. When you can get ahead of the chains running the ball, the whole playbook is open. The defense can't defend the whole playbook. It's like, imagine it's 2nd and 2. You don't know if I'm going deep, handing it off,
play action,
a screen, I could be doing anything.
Yeah.
Like when it's 3rd and 26 because you've been sacked twice, you can about to pass the ball.
Right.
And we were in that situation so many times that it inhibited what the receivers could do and the quarterback could do because of the down and distance. But if we can stay ahead of the chains, as it's called, have a running game to complement, these guys are going to light it up because they're going to get a lot of 3rd and 1s.
Yep.
And then if the 3rd and 1 doesn't work, we're going to go for it on 4th down.
Yep.
You still have 2 plays left in that scenario. When last year it's 3rd and 14, it's 3rd and 12, clock's running. We didn't have a complete football team to complement the receivers.
And when you have a guy like Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback, you are trying to get as many opportunities in a game to take a shot. And you can't just do I don't, maybe the average football fan does know this, but I don't know if they always do. You can't just do it. You have to get the right situation for it, whether it's 1st and 10 at the 50 or 2nd and 1, things like that. A player jumps off sides. You're just trying to maximize that. 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1, that's a free one for you, especially if you trust yourself running the ball in 3rd and short,
right,
which obviously they didn't last year. So, you have this incredible player who can do these things so well. And last year you actually ended up hurting his ability to do it because you're never in front of the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
You're completely telegraphing everything you're doing on offense going into every game. And so, I think sometimes people think we're crazy, maybe not our listeners, but outsiders, when we talk about, 27-3, which is what Shedeur did last year. He didn't even scratch the surface.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, we could legitimately see 45 touchdowns this year from Shedeur if they get this offense right.
Yep.
Yeah, we had 5 games that we lost by 8 points or less. And when you look at the offensive line play, the lack of a running game, the number of sacks, those were winnable games, man.
Yep.
And now that you've improved on all those things, you can't help but be optimistic about what we can accomplish this year.
And then you look at the time of possession, because the defense had a hard time, stopping the run.
Yeah.
So then your total drives get cut down on. I mean, it's just all this stuff. They could have 25% more possessions on offense this year. 25% more plays because they're extending drives.
Yeah.
All of that stuff adds up to the potential for some crazy numbers.
I think it goes back to discipline a bit too. When you're disciplined on a down-to-down basis and you consistently are aware of the sticks and the down and the distance, I think that you could do your job better because, say you're playing a flat as a corner or something, and you know what the situation is, and say it is, 3rd and 5, and they're probably throwing short. That you got to lock in, especially in that flat zone there. But if it's a 1st and 10, that you have to be responsible for that flat. You can't overplay your zone and try and do someone else's job because then you might actually be giving up a big play by not doing your thing.
Yep.
Well said, Jake.
Thank you, sir. All right.
I get so excited talking about this stuff.
I love
Just
it,
think
man.
about this situation. And tell me if you even remember it happening once last year. 1st down, 9-yard run.
No.
I don't think it happened once.
No?
I think we might have had single-digit, 5+ yard runs in 1st and 10 situations.
Yeah. If they can do that, man, I'm telling you, people will be blown away by the different things that happen out there.
Absolutely. All right, just kind of wrapping up, I guess. We can talk Ian Massey. We can talk the wide receivers. Draylon made a crazy catch. Will Shepard's been balling. Who wants to take it?
I'll go with what Shepard has been doing.
Okay.
Shepard and Wester, man, kind of like I said about Jordan Seaton, I don't think everybody knows how great they are. I think it's understated. Mm-hmm. When you see them out on the field, particularly with their 2 distinct body types. When they stand next to each other, it's they don't look alike. But they both ball hawk, yards after the catch, the crisp route running, the nonverbal communication they have with Shedeur, the trust they've built with the offseason. A lot of the quote-unquote haters or naysayers, when we knew at the end of the season Xavier Weaver was moving on, was what are you going to do now?
Sorry.
Well, now we got 2 of them, you know, and you still got Travis Hunter, and you still got Jimmy Horn.
Yep.
So this receiver room is deep, and the 2 new guys, they're special, man.
It goes back to, I mentioned it on this show, DJ and Bucky Brooks talk about it a lot, move the sticks. With the wide receiver core, you got to build a basketball team. And LaJonte is probably your 1. He's your point. He's going to be, work the short area. Will's probably more like your 4. You'd probably say the tight end's a 5, so he's going to be the guy stretching it, working the perimeter, red zone area stuff. So it's a very complimentary wide receiver core this year.
Speaking of the wide receiver core, and then you touched on making it basketball with the tight end, after reflecting from our earlier recording, I should have gone with Hart, number 81, tight end, offensive player.
Ooh.
He made some not only good catches today, he had some good runs after the catch.
Nice.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's huge to hear.
Love it.
Yeah, he's we haven't – I'm not going to say we haven't done it. I haven't observed a lot of blocking because, we just put shoulder pads on today.
Yeah.
But that guy has some good route on him. He has some speed on him.
This is an Ohio State tight end, man. Look, they're kind of a factory at that position.
Yeah.
Stover played for 4 straight years there, and Sam was just stuck behind him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's looking –
I just don't want the Broncos to draft anymore, Ohio State guys.
Yeah, not good luck there. Not good luck.
Wait, let me ask you something, and I'll circle back to why. How's Jalen Wester looking?
Good. Here's the challenge there, man. You guys put your memory caps on. You know, I told you I sit so I can shoot Coach Prime, camera, not gun. I sit between the linebackers and the running backs. Well, one point last year, I could lay down because so many running backs left, right?
Yeah.
Man, the damn linebacker row has pushed me down like 4 or 5 seats to the running backs now.
All right.
That room is deep. And other than like new guys who still got to do some growing and some teaching like Goldberg, you got a lot of guys that can play and can see time. So when you ask me how Wester's doing, he's doing good, but other guys are doing good too.
Yeah.
And maybe doing gooder.
That's exciting, though.
You know,
That's
that,
exciting.
like you, Coach Hart, I think has some job security.
He's got to be buzzing right now.
He's got some talent in that room. It's just a matter of getting it on the field in the right schemes, you know, with the system that Coach Livingston wants to put in place. But he's sleeping good at night, I'd imagine.
Reason I asked is because a new nickname just dropped in my brain. Just got to choose which one to use it for.
All right.
Wild Wester. Might have to go for LeJohntay.
Yeah, I think the odds are it will go to the receiver, Wester.
But the reason I thought of Jalen maybe is because he kind of plays wild. He plays with his hair on fire.
Well, so here's why it could work. What you have seen Trevor Woods doing in the past couple of days, and I'm not taking anything from Trevor when I say this, there are 3 other linebackers. If they were in the game, they could do that too.
Yeah.
Because the system is allowing for it.
Yep.
Like when Shiloh is out of the yellow jersey, you're going to see him doing stuff like that because the system allows for freedom of a guy. That guy's going to be the linebacker or the safety or both of them on one particular play, and they're going to be able to go steal some shit because ain't nobody looking at them.
Yeah.
I'm sad that we don't have live comments to be groaning about my nicknames right now.
Just a few more things we have to touch on.
Wester.
We did get a commitment yesterday. Former Oregon State safety Ian Massey is committed to the program. If you guys are familiar with Buffed Prime, you probably already know and seen the breakdown and all that. He hasn't played since 2021, so it's been a minute. But the Buffed Prime guys loved him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, T-Cal was really, really high on him, and it would be one hell of a shot call on his part if Ian Massey comes in and is a contributor for this team. But more excitingly, you know, there's always questions that we get in the chat of like, are they going to add someone late like Juju Mitchell this year? Well, there you go.
Yep.
Post-camp edition, and hopefully a guy who can come in, fit in, and help the team in one way or another.
Yep. So another safety joining the team. How's the safety room looked so far?
Looking good, but I don't have a problem with additions to it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have the calendar in front of me, but football is a college sport, which means it's attached to a school, which means you have all the way to a certain amount of days before class starts to register and could be a walk-on.
Yep.
So to the guys out there in the non-live chat, there are going to be a couple of more. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, this ain't over. Go back and watch the old movie, Remember the Titans, when Sunshine pulled up at camp. You know, like we know some, but you don't know all. Like somebody's family's going to move out here and they want to play football.
Yep.
It happens.
So, yeah, he is joining as a PWO preferred walk-on. Mm-hmm. We'll see when he gets here. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah.
Cordell Russell, was he on the field today?
Not on the field. I have seen him here, though.
Okay, there you go, chat. Anything else?
We talked about Shep. We talked about running backs. Any specific standouts on the offensive line that you like what you've seen from them?
Yeah, how's Seat been doing?
I'm going to actually go to the other end.
Khalil.
Yeah, because when I say that SOB is crazy, I mean in a good way. Like, I'm so damn glad he's on my team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and that this is not the NFL. I got to play a guy twice.
Yeah.
You know, because like our defense just hates him, but they hate him for all the right reasons. You know, it's like you want that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, like the big skirmish that happened today was, you know, him pancaking a little guy and deliberately just like doing a belly flop in the pool on him. You know, like just totally over the damn top. But you just have to go like, I'll live with that. Yeah. You know, I'd like some nastiness, you know.
I feel like there's like a sound that, you know, that sound from Kill Bill?
Yeah.
When like things are happening, it's like,
Yeah.
I feel like the second that his cleat hits grass, that just plays in his
siren.
Head. Yes. Yeah. Because we met him at the Prime dinner. He like couldn't have been nicer.
Dude was so nice.
Oh my God. You talk about just the consummate student athlete. But when he walks out on that grass, man, it's like, I don't think I know him.
Yeah.
I don't even think I want to know him. Like, that dude is bonkers, man.
I've only ever seen one other guy, and I can't even remember his name, but the Broncos had this guy who was like a third-string center from Iowa. And, like, he just wanted to smoke every day, regardless.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone else like that other than Khalil.
Yeah, I love it, man. Like I'm saying, everything that's coming out of my mouth is a compliment. Like, this dude is that dude. And then he challenges everybody else on the offensive line. Like, he makes everybody adhere to the standard. Like, he gets on them for late. He gets on them if you wear, Crocs or flip-flops to a meeting or something, or come to the cafeteria with a tank top on. He'll send you back. Like, he does all those leadership things. And then when he gets out on the field, you wish there was a way that you could just be like, all right, just not so much. Yeah. But that's so much him in his game, you do the opposite, like, well, hell, do it again.
Right.
Yep. Right. And if you're one of his fellow offensive linemen, you kind of just have to be a little more dialed in. Like,
absolutely.
Imagine you had a buddy who every time you went out to the bars, he started to fight. Like, you probably hit the gym a little harder. You're like, I'm probably going to have to throw every weekend I go out with this guy.
Let me tell you how right you are. Like, y'all have met Rock. Y'all know Tyler Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Like, him and Khalil Benson are two different styles on the field. Rock is the strongest guy in the world, but he uses that strength. He's not just like chasing the guy 20 yards down, kicking the Gatorade on him or something. But they all skirmish with him and for him, even though he started it. Like, maybe one day we shouldn't fight with him because he'll stop starting. But it's like, no, if I got goals, we go. Yeah. And when we know he shouldn't have done that, but he did it, and we're going to treat it like he was totally right.
I love it.
They all stick together in it, man.
Oh, yeah. Big time, Big Seaton update. How's he looked?
Good. And I've seen it some doing practice. Y'all remember when I had to pick somebody that, may be like going to have a moment? You still see freshmen.
Yeah.
What I will say about it, when it happens, he doesn't pout. Like, he takes the coaching and he works on it and addresses it. So that's showing a lot of maturity in itself. And I think that's like that IMG upbringing. Like, you kind of played at this kind of level of expectation before. Yep. But there are going to be growing pains. He has an offensive line coach who has been at the highest level of it. He has an offensive consultant from the leadership side in Big George that's been at the highest of it. So they're there bringing the best out of him, but not destroying him.
Right.
Because you do have to keep in mind, this is a freshman starting left tackle in Power 5 football. Mm-hmm. There might not be another one in the nation.
Yeah.
Nope.
I mean, last year there was one, and it was Caden Proctor. And he also, we talked about the other day, he had his ups and downs too, but he was really good by the end of the season.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach Prime will tell you, no, that kid is going pro. Yep. He just has to, get there. Yeah. He's already there, but he just can't go at this age.
Yep.
But when he gets a couple of years and more growth and strength and grows mentally with the game, and I don't mean that from an immaturity, I mean technique, learning new tricks of the trade. Mm-hmm. Dude, he's going to be hell on somebody.
Well, and I don't want to bring up this guy specifically because this isn't necessarily about him. But there was a guy who was as heralded as he was coming out of high school last year who wasn't as receptive to this type of,
to the
coaching and the tough love and all of that stuff.
Absolutely. And that is the difference. When you hold Jordan Seaton accountable, he accepts it. He doesn't then come late to the next meeting. I'm making that up, y'all. Jordan Seaton hadn't been late to no meeting. But whatever it is he may have done that the coaches want to do better, he doesn't take his ball and go home. Yeah. He does better at it. Where you've had highly touted recruits before this program, that kind of coaching didn't sit well with them. Mm-hmm. And one thing that's not going to happen here is that the coaches change. Yeah. The philosophy and the standard here are the philosophy and the standard. You get with it or get gone. And, Jordan Seaton may be a freshman, but he is embracing it. He's not over on the sidelines pouting. He's getting the same reps that the other guys get.
We're talking back to a coach.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Nothing like that. And you'll see the leader, the vocal leader of that unit being Khalil Benson right now. He probably has to get on Jordan the least. Because like you said before, hey, I don't want nobody getting on me, so let me step my shit up. Particularly I don't want him getting on me.
Totally. And there's something to be said about just finding someone who's doing it all the right ways when you're a freshman and just do what they do. It's that simple. It just reminds me of a clip from Hard Knocks. It was Baker Mayfield's rookie season with the Browns.
Okay.
And Tyrod Taylor, I think, was the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And, what was the name of the coach that everyone –
Kitchens?
No. Anyways.
Hugh Jackson?
Yes. He goes up to Baker. He says, what time did you get here today? He's like, about 6. He's like, what time did Tyrod get here? He's like, I don't know, before that. He's like, why wouldn't you get here at the same time as him? He's the starting quarterback right now. You're trying to take his job.
Yeah.
Why would you let him get here before you?
Great point.
And it's like that's just things that these guys are still learning. But if I'm Jordan Seaton, not that I'm trying to take Khalil Benson's job, I'm just looking at him and being like, because we saw Ty posted on her Instagram story that Khalil was in the first meeting, like 30 minutes before it.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm Seaton, I'm just like, okay.
There are
if he's going, I'm going.
Two people who consistently do that, and that is Khalil Benson and Cameron Stillman-Craig. Like, they cut the lights on.
Yeah.
And they're not only there for all the right reasons, they're there to make sure they see who in their unit comes in last or late. Then God bless who's last or late.
And the truth is, you're probably just sitting on your phone either in your bed or you're sitting on your phone in the locker room. You can just sit on your phone in the meeting room.
It's amazing
it's
amazing how what you're alluding to there, it ain't all that, but it's all that.
Yeah.
Like, all you got to do is just do it.
Yeah. I guess you could no, you probably just don't bring your phone to the meeting room.
Yeah, now. But a week ago what you're saying is factually correct. You could just go in there, eat breakfast, come sit down, instead of going downstairs and sitting in your locker or sitting in the player lounge, losing track of time like Jake, and now you got to run and you're running late. You could just be there. But it just shows maturity and leadership, man. But, Khalil Benson is normally there before anybody.
And we'll be here again tomorrow. Not here. Friday we'll be here.
Here.
You won't be here, though. You going to say goodbye to the chat until next week?
Yeah, the chat's been, on me about missing shows recently, so sorry, I'm missing 2 more.
The guy's got big time work to go do.
I've got just a lot of things happening in life.
Yeah.
I remember that happening last year around this time, too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Always got a lot of shit going in August, seems like.
Well, Unc and I will have takeaways again on Friday. We'll be back up here for pressers. We'll have Pat Shermer and some offensive players. Sorry we couldn't go live today, chat, but hope you all enjoyed the show regardless. We'll be back tomorrow. See you then. Skol Buffs.
Skol Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.